Greetings and welcome to yet another show. A girl who don't you know? Yeah, it's me, Marilyn Green, the hostess with the mostest. I am here today because guess what I want to do for you? I want to transform your mind one show at a time. And guess what? This show is no different than all the rest of my shows. Okay. So, and I got some guests on today that we just talked about. It was a divine connection of how we all got together. And I'm excited to introduce them because guess what we know? We know the season is coming in now where people maybe not feeling so well, mood wise, and things they upset about some things, or it's the holiday season. Should be merry, but it's not merry for everybody. So I said, you know what? Let me bring on some expert. I'll call them SMEs, subject matter experts on alternative ways to keep your mood balanced. That's what I'm going to for tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to say, hello, Jessica Broadway. Can you give us a big wave or something?
Hello. So excited to be here.
I'm excited to see you, girl. You're looking good as usual. Okay, fashionista, aka fashionista. So Jessica is a success coach and a creative strategist. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
interesting, right? Let's get with it. Okay, and then I have Shawna. Shawna, I know I'm gonna get your last name wrong. So come on there and wave and tell us what it is.
Shawna Mattis.
I love that. And Shauna is a somatic therapist and she is also an entrepreneur. Okay. She's a licensed massage therapist. So I'm coming from both spectrum and we're going to mesh it all together and we're going to have you all some type of rational thinking process when we end this recording. Okay. So let me start with you, Jessica. And so when you say creative strategy, what do you mean? I mean, what have you seen with people during this time of the year? Okay, that will say, wow, they really do need you. What have you seen?
Well, what I have found, my background is in psychology, family studies, and biblical studies. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided to go into the specialty of being a grief specialist and studying this area. And one thing I found was when people went through a season of overwhelm, things they wish were better, more, or different about their lives, we could see that the first thing to go was their creativity and problem solving, right? It's just
Wow.
gone. They hit a roadblock, they start shutting down, and then they have an emotional response to whatever it is that they feel like they wish they could change about life. And so that
Hmm.
creates a lot of roadblocks. So what I do is go in and help them work through strategically
Hmm.
how to identify the things that they wish were better, more, or different, and help look at those in their right space with the right terminology and help them identify what loss they're experiencing and then the discovery of the emotion that's creating the block. Once we introduce that
Hmm.
transforming mindset and we apply those tools, they're able to engage in problem solving, creative engaging back into the relationships or into their job. So we see it happen whether it's professionally or personally. The first thing to go is always your creativity.
Wow.
So really kind of creating my own niche there of helping with the success coaching and the mindset, but then applying the creative strategy, you can really strategize any kind of problem solving solution, whether it's professional or personal, because really we all know people don't have business problems, they just have personal problems that get in the way. So
Okay, dokie then. Thank you so much. I didn't even have to pay to get that little thing there. Okay. Hey, Shauna, I see you moving your head. When she talks about creativity goes first, do you hear that as well? What's your thoughts on that one?
I don't necessarily hear that creativity goes first, but people come to me when they just feel stuck. And oftentimes I get the statement of, I just have brain fog. I can't think through
Mhm.
anything at all. So if you can't think through anything, you're certainly not going to be able to have any kind of creativity that you're going to be able to put some feet to and do something with, or even capture it at all to even identify it.
Wow, wow. That's true. That's true. So Jess, when you start, how do you find out? Do you do an assessment? How do you find out that they stuck? They say it like Shawna says, or what do they do? You just know
Yeah,
it by the look in their eye? How do you know
I
this?
I love how she shared that because we don't really know that it's like, oh, I'm missing my creativity. I need a creative strategist, or we don't recognize, oh, I'm experiencing symptoms of grief. I must need to go talk to somebody about identifying loss. Like we don't, if we knew those things, we just do them ourselves, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there is part of a conversation, and it often sounds like I have brain fog, or if you're sitting here tonight and you're thinking, is this me? Just do a mental inventory. Is there an area that you have an abundance of things you wish were better, more, or different? If you
Mm-hmm.
say yes to that, then it's likely that you have some sort of loss related block there. And
Wow.
once we discuss that and we talk about it, there's a formula that I like to apply with it. But most oftentimes I just ask people, hey, if you feel stuck and you feel like you got that brain fog going on and you're struggling to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or you're feeling
Mhm.
like you want to isolate, or you're hyper vigilant about something and there's only one way to do it, ask
Wow.
yourself, what is it that I wish was better, more, or different right now? And whatever the answer to that is, that's the place we're going to start. That's the area of life we're going to start and we'll start breaking it down, looking for those threads that are common, and start working a strategy to creatively solve it. And when I talk about creativity, I think it's important to acknowledge that that's not arts and crafts, right?
Okay,
Creativity
good.
is
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
It's just life. You're talking about life. You're talking about life.
right. Like we are created in the image of the ultimate creator. We
Yeah.
have the ability to create the life we wish existed by being fully engaged and fully alive. And when we have an abundance of things we wish were better, more, or different, we feel stuck, blocked, and we don't feel like we have that power to create what we wish existed. We
Wow.
don't feel engaged in life. And so a lot of this is saying, let's do a creative strategy so that you can live the life you've been wishing existed, but now you have some real feet in it, some meat to it, and you can put your feet to the ground and you can get going. I like to say that action is the strategy that dreams are made of, right?
I like
And
that.
when you've been dreaming and dreaming, dreaming, wishing, 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 and
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have action, then you have nothing for it. And that creates additional loss, that all the things you were going to do that you never did, those start stacking up, and then those start sounding like voices in your head. So the
Mm-hmm.
success coaching comes from the mindset retraining and giving you better words to identify, and the creative strategy is about tapping into your unique power, your unique gifts, and doing the work to heal so that you can start creating what you wish existed and applying that across the board. It doesn't matter whether it's being a better mother, creating what you wish in motherhood, or creating what
Mm-hmm.
you wish in your business, or even in your marriage or in your community. All of these things, if you don't have the energy, if you're too busy holding on to the broken promises of yesterday or the
Wow.
things you wish were different, your arms are
Mm-hmm.
going to be so full of all of that, you won't have anything to give to the future. And one thing I hear consistently over and over again is after they do the work, they find an energy that is renewed. They have clarity, they have focus, they feel inspired. And it's a really neat process to watch
I
unfold.
like, I like that because that says that your success, you don't, I'll just say this. Sometimes people say, okay, what's your success rate? Okay.
Mhm.
If that person moves a jot or a tittle, that is a success rate. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. So, Shauna, now we talk about different alternatives and stuff, and I did read up on somatic therapy, and they did say something about and I'm going to give the definition and you tell me if I'm wrong. It says it's incorporates body orientated modalities such as dance, breath work. What? Tell us a little bit about somatic. I don't know what I'm talking about, but girl, go ahead with it. Okay.
So no, soma means body. So
Okay.
soma is body, somatic is body therapy. So any
Mm-hmm.
kind of therapy that has to do with your body. It can be breath work, it can be dance, it could be interpretive dance, it could be massage therapy is where I started like 25 years ago. I started as a massage therapist, and then I quickly had a personal experience where I had an emotional breakthrough just from a massage session with the
Wow.
school founder. And I didn't even know that existed. And immediately I wanted to know more because I wanted to do more than just help people feel good, and then when they leave they get back in their car and then they get all stuck again. I wanted to do deeper work than that because I had experienced that release. So I started finding things like acupressure. I took as many hours of acupressure training, which deals with traditional Chinese medicine and tapping
Hmm.
into the whole person. So here in the Western culture, we deal with a symptom of something, and like Jessica was saying, we want to get to like, what's the root of this? Why are you
Yeah.
feeling this way? So let's deal with the root of that. And with somatic therapy, what you can do is you create a safe space for people's bodies to identify things that they've been holding on to, or
Wow.
that they don't even know are there. And everything is held in our tissue and somewhere in our body. Dirk van der Kolk, who wrote The Body Keeps the Score, he talks about every single thing is stored inside of our body. It's going to come out as high blood pressure or acne or hair loss or chronic tension in your shoulders or heart palpitations or a catch in your hip. It's going to come out somewhere at some time. So if we can start doing work sooner and your body goes, oh, oftentimes in sessions, it looks kind of crazy, but someone's arm will just start to go all over the place. It's just something that has been held in there. It could be from childhood. They don't have to remember it, which is one of the beautiful things about somatic
Beautiful.
therapy is they don't have to re-talk it out or relive it. It can just be
Hmm.
released, and that blockage is released from their body, and then they can move on. And so somatic therapy is super vast. I mean, it really is any kind of therapy that has to do with the body, but it really goes beyond just massage therapy. And so
Hmm.
I find a lot of success in craniosacral therapy, which
Okay.
deals with the cranial bones through your sacrum, basically the whole thoracic part of our body, head to tail. Like that's the
Hmm.
area, but
Yeah.
it releases
Hmm.
things in people, and it directly involves the central nervous system. So once you get that calmed down, then all those other things can start working out when we get out of fight or flight. So that's really what somatic therapy
Like
is.
that.
It's getting the body out of fight or flight, calming the central nervous system so you can actually get rid of some of the things that are stopping you or putting a hindrance to moving forward in any area of your life.
You know what, Shawna? Let me say this. I know, I'm a Zumba junkie, right? Okay, which is a dance or a movement,
Hmm.
right? But I get to a point where I'm almost so relaxed that I'm about to pass out. Okay, I'm serious. I'm still moving.
Yes.
I'm still getting it, but I can feel my body change and start to relax, but I'm still moving. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Just
Hmm.
it's like a wow. And when I hit that part right there, I'm saying, "Ooh, I'm all the way there. I'm in there, right?" And it just feels so good. But when you talk about the pain, I read about chronic pain. It might help you with that, PTSD, anxiety, grief, things of that
Hmm.
nature. So, but I feel mine in in my arms and my
Hmm.
shoulder. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm just gonna be real. When people start to get on my nerves real bad, it's right here. I can tell I need to separate from them. I'm like, oh, she all up in my arms, okay? And I
Most
don't
people can identify a spot on their body where they go, it just goes right there. My husband has a specific spot on my body. I'm like, okay, that's it. I can't take anymore. I recognize that spot in my own body where that's just where it goes.
I'm like, wow. So you also said something, and if you want to share, you don't have to, that you wanted to do this type of therapy because you had deliverance as well. Okay.
Hmm.
What was the deliverance? If you can share, if you want to share,
Yeah,
what was
so
the deliverance?
I went through massage school twice because Missouri didn't quite know what to do. So 25 years ago, when I went the first time,
Okay.
um, it's a big story. Uh, when I went through the first time, I had a member of my family who, what I now know, would be labeled as a narcissist. They're no longer a member of my family, but they
Mhm.
basically hijacked everything I did in my life.
Oh,
So I found massage school. And so when I was doing that, I was so excited. And I thought I had something that was mine, and they
hmm,
hijacked it. Came to the same school, took the same classes, like got their way in to all the instructors. Like it was the kind of thing where if I had said, "Hey, I think I want a minivan," I promise you the next day they bought a minivan. "Hey, I think I'm going to paint my walls brown." The next day their walls were brown. I mean, before I could even do it. So I felt like that was hijacked in that season. And so
hmm,
during one of the sessions at school, when I know that they were coming to classes after me, I had asked for the director to, if she could do some body work on me, and I had this massive emotional release. I just sobbed. Like I
oh,
think about it now, and I just saw it just came out. I had no idea that could happen, but after that was
mm,
out, I was much more able to go to school, not carry all that extra weight with me, separate myself from whatever was going on with that situation, and it was still my space. And I was able to let that go. And I didn't know that anything like that could have happened or
wow.
even existed.
Okay, all right. But it's always important to release. And I think
Yes.
Jess, I see you looking, Jess, and Jess is nodding her head. Jess, what you want to add on this right here as far as some of the things you've seen?
Yeah, so my work as a grief specialist is
Hmm.
really what started opening this world to me. And one thing that we know statistically from people who are experiencing grief is unresolved grief, which is the emotional response to whatever loss you're experiencing. Okay, so a loss is a change in a pattern of behavior, a change in circumstances, or things that you can't quite tangibly, the loss of hopes and dreams and expectations, right? All of
Hmm.
that stuff is the event, and then the emotional experience is the grief. And what we know is that people who don't deal with it, it always manifests in the body. We know that it
Yes.
comes out in that, and that science has proven that. And so what I love about the work that Shawna does is that it doesn't need, like, there are different types of learners, right? There are people who want to get their hands on it, they want to know, they want to do the work, they need tools, they need
Hmm.
step by step things, they need okay, now that I've dealt with it, what do I do next, kind of a thing. They need that guidance, and so I'm able to coach and walk through those tangible experiences with people. But I do find people that come that don't want to go there. They often label it as I don't remember or nothing happened, and they
Mm.
detach,
Yeah.
dissociate from the experience itself. So yes, they're going to get an experience when I do these workshops. In fact, I have one coming up this week where we're specifically talking about dealing with unresolved loss. Like that's kind of an entry level position to working with me when we do that inventory. And so we're
Hmm.
specifically dealing with that. And I'm sure there's going to be somebody there that's like, nothing happened. I don't remember. And what I found is that they'll take the comfort in knowing the information, and maybe at someday it will get traction and you plant a seed, right? But you
Right.
can't ever force someone to go there. And so when I see those experiences, I see it's manifesting in the body. It is so great to be able to say, hey, there are other ways to access this and release it, and
Hmm.
you don't need to know what it was. And the work that Shawna does is really valuable in that space. And other than just self-care in general that we all
Right.
need,
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
the therapist needs a
Yes.
therapist, right? And you can self-diagnose, you can do the introspective thing, you can work all the different angles for yourself, knowing better, doing better.
Right.
But there's something about going to another professional and saying, what do I not see? The
Right.
blind spots of our lives. So you always have a conscious reasoning and a subconscious. And, she does the work on the deep subconscious stuff. Like you don't need to know, be aware of it. And there's some comfort in that. I know some people that are, have unspeakable things that have happened to them,
Hmm.
and to see them get to access freedom and healing in a way that allows them to self-preserve, because I do believe that your subconscious and the way that it works is there to protect you and to help you
Hmm.
continue to live on in your life. And
Right.
so it's just beautiful to see that kind of work coming into play and allowing people space to heal without intrusive thought.
I like that. I think about it and I'm trying to say, the Bible talks about, that's my guide, okay? All right. And the Bible talks about how we're fearfully and wonderfully
Hmm.
made. When traumatic things come in and to bother us, unknowing and knowing, right? Then I think our fearfully and wonderfully made self becomes traumatized. Like you
No, that's
said, just
right.
knowing or not knowing is
Right?
there. And I love
Yeah.
when you said, okay, you don't want to talk about it, Jess, but you need to go see Shawna because Shawna gonna do her thing, right? It's gonna come out some kind of way. You might just start slapping yourself. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
But they
Yeah.
don't have to know what it was because they're in denial. That's what I'm trying to say, and they don't
Well,
want
you
to
know
talk
what
about it.
denial stands for, right?
No.
Don't even notice I am lying.
I better put a marker right there so they can get that. Right, right. Yeah,
There's
because
denial. Don't
that
even
did
notice
happen.
I'm lying.
That's right. But people don't even they don't want to say it. I love that because just they don't want to say it. But they go to Shauna and Shauna is doing her thing, right? And it's just automatically, I think you said something about somebody is waving their hands or, whatever and
Hmm.
stuff. That's where that issue deposited. Okay.
Yes.
So is,
Deposited is, yes.
is that the right word? I don't know.
It's a great word. It's a great word. It can be attached or deposited or stuck or anything like that, but that's where it found a space. And oftentimes it will exacerbate somewhere that's already a weak spot. So say somebody had an injury from high school and then
Mm-hmm,
there's some other kind of trauma that's more emotional trauma. It will go just like the enemy of all things good is going to attack our weak spot.
mm-hmm,
That's where it's going to go, to the weak spot. And so it will exacerbate the weak spot. And so then somebody's like, man, this used to not be that bad, but now, my gosh, I can't move my shoulder like at all. It's frozen, it's stuck, and I don't know what happened. And then the
yes.
more work that they do, at some point, usually, even in my sessions, something will come out and they'll say, I don't even know why I feel like I need to say this, but like when I was 7, da 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 happened.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
proud. That's
So
It's
powerful.
you can
very powerful.
Yeah, that is pop. So you move them to basically a yes, to just free yourself up and let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about this. Wow, that is so exciting.
Yes.
But so basically, like I said at the beginning of the show, this is about alternative things, okay? Surely it's just Shauna and Jessica is just not the all of this, but they are some good, healthy alternative ways to deal with things during the holidays. I think about it
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm like, do I want to put a Christmas tree up or not? Nah, I don't want to do that. So it's anybody could be affected. I mean, I'm always on 10 and hyper, but still, nevertheless, I too go through like, I don't want to do this. Okay. So that's where it is. Okay. So hold on one second. Learn more, chat with support, learn more. What is happening here? Okay, new systems. Okay, I'm like, okay, but nevertheless and stuff. So the alternatives that you guys are given. Okay, so let's just go basic. What are some of the things that you would tell somebody just going through this? I know you said you create, you build, you inspire. Okay, so what would you tell them?
So a really simple thing that I teach people to do is right here, these points. These are emotional stress release points. It's when we talk about that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, we often do these things automatically.
We
Anytime
do.
you're feeling stressed or anxious, if you just put your hand right here and just hold it, this will calm your central nervous system.
I feel it.
And once your central nervous system is calm, then you can start making a better decision. So
Yeah, I
we
think I.
are fearfully and wonderfully made. And we
Yeah,
automatically think about when you're stressed out, what do? You go, oh my gosh.
that's
And
it.
you automatically cover that spot there. So those are simple things that we can do to really affect our own central nervous system when we get in a situation like that. It's one
Mhm.
tool. I teach it to
That's
kids
what
all the
I'm doing.
time.
Like, oh gosh.
One tool
You
right there.
really can feel it. But I'm telling you, where I feel it is straight in my shoulders and my arms again. It always
Just
goes
moving
there.
its way down.
It's the first thing. It just went straight there. Now, Shauna, you remember a show I had, and you looked at it and you talked about, as we talk about things that you could do as simple. Also, the sound. Remember that she said that one sound. I
Vibrational
forgot what it was.
frequency.
Sound. Do you deal with that at all, or
Om,
not?
amen, Yes,
Yes.
the vibrational frequency.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
And that calms you down too. That it's like, oh my, it went to my
yes,
right here again. I'm like, I
yes.
need help, Shauna. So
I
okay, so
I work with tuning forks too. So tuning
you
forks are vibrational frequencies that you can work with from some people call it an energy field, some people call it an aura, some people, but we are vibrational beings. I mean, we were spoken into existence, and a spoken word is a vibrational frequency. That's why words are so powerful. So the spoken vibrational frequency can affect our body. So when you have a vibrational frequency that you can use to calm the body, that's effective too. That's why Om, when you do that, I mean, imagine if you went like this and you said Om, how much calmer you would be. Om, or it's not the word, it's the frequency of the sound. And I think she
okay.
had said too, amen is like when you do the song type amen at the end of a liturgy or something like that, that's the same frequency.
Hey, it has been real. And Shauna, where can we find you? Where are you?
I am, my main office is in Lebanon, Missouri, at
Hmm.
128 East Commercial in Lebanon, Missouri. And I also have a second location where I've just started seeing people. It was coming, but now I did just this last weekend, my first weekend, I saw some clients in the St. Louis area, so outskirts of St. Louis area in High Ridge.
Sounds good. And Jessica, where can we find you at?
Well, you can find me at jessicabroadway.com and send me a message or book a free sip and solve with me and see if working together is a good fit.
Wow. Hey, you know what? It has been a pleasure with you ladies. I mean, we had fun. We talked about some things, you gave me some free therapy and so I'm pretty happy, So I thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge and and everybody listening to this. I mean, please listen to this, right? And if you need to go back through it because there's some real good information in here for you to make sure that your mood is okay. Because guess what? Nobody wants a grumpy person around them at Christmas. Nobody wants a Grinch, right? Nobody wants that, right?
No,
So you want to keep yourself okay when you're with people or not with people. Okay. Some people just hang around a bunch of people that's hyped, right? And then when they go home, then that's where it is. So we want to keep you at even keel no matter where you are. So you need to go and visit Miss Shauna or Miss Jessica. So, hey, I'm going to end tonight. I'm Marilyn Green, girl who don't you know. I am on here only trying to transform your mind one show at a time. And please go and subscribe and to like me. So until next time, you guys take care. Bye bye.